Okay, we are building a smudge pot today. It's more or less like a diesel, kerosene, or any kind of used oil burner. Is basically what it is. This is it up here on the computer. I've already got it drawn up on my system outside. I'm going to cut it out of 16 gauge steel. Watched a couple other videos where they make them out of different size. 16 gauge is pretty good. It's a little tough for me to bend without relief cuts, but I'm going to do most of it without relief cuts on the bottom half because I don't want to have to do a lot of extra welding in this spaces that it's going to have liquid. And this is a 16 gauge steel. We're doing basically normal number 9 tip, 100 inches per minute at 30 amps, Langmuir XR 4x8 table with the Everlast 62i plasma. And we're just going to go ahead and get this thing started. We'll run most of it in high speed, so won't end up making the video an hour long. So hopefully we can cut it down to about 17 minutes or so. We'll see how this thing turns out. I'll let y'all watch it for a little bit and I'll cut in here and there. Well, there's all the pieces just wiped down. I still need to wire wheel everything. Looks like it cut out pretty good. This is just going to be the little dampener that'll actually shut the system off. That actually put in there really nice. Hardly any play on either side. But, a little leery about that, but fit pretty good. These are just going to be the legs. These are going to get bent in half, and that'll actually be what's in the corner once it gets bent. And these, of course, will be the pieces that actually turn and shut it off for the airflow. There's going to be one on each side. And they'll actually cut the air off. This here will actually be the fill tube. Once it gets bent up right, that'll be the fill tube. It'll actually go on the other side. But yeah, that should be about it. I'll get it all bent and put together. Probably make another video of me bending it up too. All right, we got it all cut out now. I'm just beginning to try and start bending some of this. And this top tube here bends okay. I've got some relief cuts in it because I wasn't worried about anything leaking out of it. It's still a little tight to bend, but it bends up pretty easy. I had to bend it in 3 different places to make it totally square, so it's a little hard to get in and out of the machine. I probably could have made it in 2 pieces and made it a little easier to bend. That way I only had to make really 2 bends, but then I would have had to weld both sides, and I didn't really want to have to do that. So I just went this route, and it seemed to work out pretty good. As you'll see on this last bend here, it's just a little bit challenging. You just have to work with it to kind of bow the metal back out after you get it bent, because I had to bend it up and around that top piece. So it worked out though. It wasn't too bad. And then I just pulled it loose and kind of finished hand bending the rest of it. It got it pretty close to where it needed to be, as you can see. And I just had to sandwich it in a little bit. Now this over here is the bottom half of the pot. And this here, I actually score cut some lines in it. Not very deep at all, just barely even made a line across it. Just to give me a little bit of a relief cut and an area to start the bend. Because there was no relief cuts at all in this. And I didn't want to have to weld all the way across that and try to, have a little pinhole leak somewhere or something. So, but it did okay. It's a little tough to bend, like I say, on the bigger pieces, but it did pretty good. It got me, 20%, 25% of where I needed to be, and then I just had to take a ratchet strap and kind of pull it to where I needed to do it, and some clamps, and pull it in tight, and then tack weld it into place, and then go back and finish weld it. But I guess you can see it bends it right on up fairly decently. It's a little tough, but it makes it. Then I just went from there and just hand bent it the rest of the way, and just put me a strap around it right there and ratchet strapped it up, and then just took me a couple clamps and clamped it in and went on about it. It wasn't too bad. I just got all the tack welds on it, and then I went back and finished welded it. I ended up grinding it down smooth, which I don't really like. I think I'm going to go back and weld over top of where my original welds were, just to make the metal a little thicker in those edges and those corners. I'm just worried about it being thin and wearing out over time, the heat getting to it and it cracking and starting to leak. So I'll probably go back and basically weld over all my welds that I ground down in the first place. Just make it a little stronger. And somehow I didn't get a video of me putting the vents in place, but basically all I did is I took and enlarged the hole on the slide piece that's on top, and actually the part of the pot that actually has the vent holes in it, the small hole in the middle that I already had pre-cut out, I just went ahead and tapped it. And that way the bolt would slide around the outside piece and tap in, thread in tight on the box itself. So that worked out pretty good. I just threaded the bolt right into the box. And then the other thing is, for some odd reason I didn't have in my video the slide piece that I showed earlier that slides in to actually close up that big 6x6 port. I just welded some small tabs on the inner edge of that for that port to slide on, and it just slid right into that slot. But I forgot to video that for some reason, or missed it. Well, here it is, all finished up. I had just lit it. It's just getting hot now. And it gets quite a bit hotter here in a few minutes, and the metal starts to blue out on it as it gets hot. But yeah, that little side port right there, you just take the cap off. You can light a paper towel and shove it down in there. It lit it, but it was taking a little bit of time, so I just threw a torch in there, blew a torch down in there, and it lit it up pretty quick. And this is running with diesel. I did try it later with diesel and more oil, more or less, more just used oil, and then I put a little bit of diesel on top of it to get it started, but it burned every bit of that up just as hot. Doesn't smoke real bad. It has a little bit of black smoke that comes out of the top of it, but not too bad. And those vents work excellent. You'll see in the next little clip I got coming up. It really turns it down. If you close them up most of the way, it'll turn that thing down to where the fire is about halfway up in that tube. And you open the vents up, and it really puts some fire out. Like I say, it's just now getting hot. It gets a little bit more fire coming out of there in a few seconds. But yeah, I got another clip here in a minute that'll show you the vents running and all that stuff, and we can. I can actually modify the top to put different logos or whatnot on it. That's my Walker Metalworks logo there. But I could put about anything on that thing, cut it out, and then bend it afterwards. But yeah, this is it here. It's turned all the way down. And that's opening up one vent on that side. And then when you open up the other vent, you'll see it even get a little bit more fire coming out of that. Just look us up, Walker Metalworks, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. I can actually get you the SVG file for a very small fee, probably $15. Or I can pre-cut it out for you and send it to you if you have a way to bend it and tack weld it all up yourself. I can make you a little kit like that. But yeah, just let us know. Like I say, it works out really nice. And it's a nice little heater. Puts out some hot flames, diesel or oil. I haven't tried kerosene yet, but it should work out just as good. All right, well, we appreciate it now, and just like and subscribe. We have a few videos here and there every once in a while, and I have some small little skit videos I throw in here and there just on little projects I make. And we appreciate it. Thanks.